Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Monday. Another day. Welcome back to Monday. Because last time we were here, it was Wednesday, right? And the time before that, it was Monday. So now we're welcoming back to another Monday.
Oh yeah.
Makes sense, right?
It makes some sense.
Okay, so today let's dive into a little more narration-focused discussion on what our game's going to be. I know we have a very loosely defined game right now, which is good, and we want it to be very loosely defined, sort of like an abstract title. But probably have a little shorter meeting today too, because I know a lot of midterms today and this week, and a bunch of people are busy, and so on and so forth. So let's kind of jump into it. So we have our islands, right? We have our main island that we need to escape from. And then we're going to have our little islands, our random spawn node islands. So let's kind of think of like a narration, right? So let's start talking about it. How do you even get to this island to begin with? I know we're talking about maybe like a plane crash or something, or maybe like our adventurer is some esteemed guy. I mean, what do you guys think? What do you think would be fitting?
I think he should be like, he was going on an adventure, but then something went wrong, his plane crashed, and he ended up on this island, which may or may not have been the one he was trying to get to.
Okay.
But you don't know where you are, so you got to figure that out.
Okay. Or maybe he was trying to find an island. There was some history that he was going to some island to find, and then in the process he crashed, and then in the very end of the game we'll find out that somewhere on this island that mystery was hidden, and he actually ended up crashing onto close to the right island, because remember, he was starting on one of these other islands, working his way in. Okay, so that'd be cool. I know we talked about this a little bit, about having the tutorial be taking place back in his office or wherever. I think that's a great idea, at least to give the user ability to kind of walk around, get used to the movement scheme, get used to controlling the camera, maybe have him
Get to try out all the gear that you might find.
Oh, that'd be cool. Like before, and then you lose it, and then you go like, oh, I wish I had that hook shot. Well, at least I know I can make it. We could do something like that. That'd be kind of cool. Although, then you wouldn't have to find blueprints.
Well, you still might not know how to make it.
Okay, but you just have it.
You had one.
We could do that.
What if you
All
had
right.
to assemble it on the island? Like, he was only bringing the parts, and then, I don't know.
That's the idea, though, is we're gonna find the parts on the island and the blueprints. We're
Yeah.
gonna assemble it.
So,
But okay, cool. Well, like I said, I do like the idea of having the tutorial world, right? This will be like its own little, maybe just his office, and we'll have like his desk, and have some papers on there and stuff. Maybe you can go and you can hover over those papers and interact. When you click on it, maybe it'll pop up like the blueprint would pop up in the game. We'll just get a little texture image that pops up there, and we'll see it have some stuff written on there or whatever. Maybe have
I was kind of imagining like him in like a hangar with like an airplane.
Oh,
And
okay,
then
his
he's
own
ready to go.
airplane?
He goes to the airplane
We
and
could
takes
do that.
off in the little biplane, and then that's what crashes.
And maybe in that whole hangar, it's really big, and maybe that's how he gets to use his items, right? He's like, man, I really need to go up and grab this thing from that top shelf. I can't get there. Grappling hook!
What if you like have the computer on the desk and there's like training simulations?
Oh, that'd be a good idea. And then you can go in, and that way it doesn't seem weird that you have all these things in this hangar, but instead you can go there, you can click on it.
like
Yeah.
he knows he's going to an island that has a jungle, so he has like a jungle obstacle course that he's practicing in.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You know?
That'd be really cool. I like that idea. Okay, so we'll start him in his airport hangar, right? Whatever hangar looks like. And then in like a corner will be his office with his computer. And then he'll go and that's good. And then that'll give the player, we can just start him in his office, right? And then maybe you can't leave your office until you complete one of those training simulators. That's kind of the tutorial, unless you
Opening
completed
a
it in the
blueprint
past.
thing.
What's that?
Like opening and looking at a blueprint.
Exactly, something really simple like that, or just moving around and using the mouse and controls and to interact with your environment. Something like that we could do.
You could have him like have to craft something to get out, like the door broke or the doorknob broke, so you got to make a doorknob.
I like that.
Put it on.
Cool.
I like that. I like that a lot. Steampunk though, so I'll have to fashion the doorknob in some crazy cool way. We'll figure that out when we
Just
get
gonna
there.
fix gears on the door or something.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
Fix that's very steampunky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. Okay, I think that's good. I think that gives us a good starting point. So he solves a little puzzle. He does a little tutorial on his computer, teaches him how to do. Yeah, and you get out, like, you can click on the computer, you can have different training simulations, right? I wanna see what it's like to use this. I wanna see what it would be like to use a grappling hook in a jungle environment. So you click on it, and then you're just there, and then you get to practice it over and over and over again. Okay, and then we eventually craft our way out of the door. We get to the plane. And then I guess once we crash our way out of the door, it would probably just be some form of cutscene, right? I'm assuming we just see a guy walking to the plane and the plane taking off. And then next thing you know, it's like maybe the plane takes off and our guy like falls asleep in the plane, and the next thing you know, yeah, autopilot, man. You don't need to actually fly planes anymore. Well, does he have a pilot, or is he flying it himself?
I think he could fly. Because if
Okay.
he crashes, then where's his pilot gonna go?
Well, he would die.
That could be part of the narrative, is you gotta find the pilot so you can get home.
Maybe.
You could,
But he's
or
dead.
maybe you can
So you
craft
can't-
your own pilot.
Or if we have that watch thing we were talking about, maybe that's how you interact with the plane? Maybe.
Yeah, you can do that.
One where you like, you interact with your animals or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
Just plug a USB into your watch.
Yeah.
It plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Okay, well, that's good. That's great. And so we'll get in the plane, we'll fly off, we'll crash, we'll land on the island. Get down to one of his opening areas, and you know, his eyes will slowly open, and everything will be very confusing feeling. And then maybe in the distance you see something. Let's say you crash on the beach, right? What is this? Is the beach kind of jungly feeling too, do you think? Or is it really small and just really sandy? How big do you think the beach would be? And put it in a real world perspective, where this giant island would be, let's say, maybe the size of like downtown Seattle. Not like all of downtown Seattle, but I'm just saying where the major skyscrapers are. Downtown Seattle. So how big do you think that these little ones should be then?
I think the little island should be really small in comparison to the big island.
But how small? I mean, do you mean like the size of this room small? Or like the size of this building small? Or the size of this campus small? I mean,
It's a good building.
Yeah, I think it would kind of depend on how big we actually make the big island. Like,
well, just for reference sake, pretend the big island is like the size of a city,
okay,
right?
maybe the size of this building then.
A bit
There's
about
still
building
areas
size
to
islands?
explore. You've got to find what you're gonna do. It's not like you're sitting here and you can turn in a circle and see everything you need to get.
Yeah. Well, there'll be different elevations too in hills, so blocking people's paths to be able to see. We also got to think that we're gonna want to see off in the distance certain things on this island too, whether it be just different mountainous structures, or maybe certain towers, or certain types, something of an incentive to make the player be like, I need to get there eventually at some point, you know. So we can't make it too insanely huge, these small islands, because our draw distance will be limited. But we'll get to that. Okay, so let's say it's about the size of the building. Should we make these, do you think we should make these levels multi-tiered, like a building is? Maybe some, not levels, but these little islands, maybe have, certain islands have little shacks on them or something. Stuff to where, I'm trying to think of how is finding these items on this, finding the items on the little island, how's that really gonna feel to a person? I mean, you're just gonna walk around and pick stuff up? Is there gonna be more hidden than that? What do you guys think?
Maybe like one or two you can pick up on the little islands. And then maybe you have like one where you have to do a puzzle to do. And
Okay.
that gets you ready for the big island where you have to do puzzles to get all of them.
Okay, I like that idea. I think that's solid. And that way, yeah, at least one or two that you just pick up and then you just have, right? Just to have, because that would give the player kind of idea of maybe they just cheesed the tutorial and they weren't really paying attention, so they get to this island. We don't want it to be so absurdly hard that they don't have any idea what they're doing. Okay, so let's say you find some rope on the ground, and it's like you walk over to it, and maybe it's like shiny or and some indicator that the person can pick it up. So we walk over to it. We're gonna hover our little mouse icon over it. We're gonna click to interact. We'll pick up that rope, And then what are we gonna? Should we have the option to put it in inventory to keep it or discard it?
I think so.
I think it should just, if it's something you can have, it should just automatically you have it. Like,
Okay. Let's do that too, because you don't really want to discard the rope, because what if you discard it? I guess you could just re-pick it back up, maybe.
I think so. Because if you like pick up a stick to look at it, maybe you don't want it to automatically go into inventory unless you want it there.
I guess yeah, no, I like that actually better. That's a good call. Because then if you pick up this rope and then you don't want to, you're like, oh, I don't want to run a rope. I don't need anything for that. Then you can discard it, but it'll stay there in the real world.
Yeah.
Right? But if you pick it up and keep it, it'll delete it, and then it'll have a new representation of that in our inventory in some way. Like the rope will no longer be existing there. And then, yeah, so let's say they pick up the rope, they say, I don't want this rope, this is stupid, we're going to use rope for, they're going to discard it, even though adventure game, rope's probably the most important thing you can find. But, so discard the rope, then you walk over, and maybe you can find like a scrap of your plane or something, and that's something you want to make a raft out of, right? So you pick up, so you just hover over that, and then it'll say, maybe you have to deconstruct it, right? We were talking about that a little bit, right? Deconstructing as part of one of the puzzle mechanics. What do you guys think? Should we deconstruct the plane in some way?
It's a good idea to keep, for now at least. It's a good way to get, if you want to get this from it, you can take it for something else maybe.
Yeah.
Or if you want to build something, you can take this off and put this in place.
you'd have to kind of know like what you're looking for when you're deconstructing it, because like each part you take off, it could ask you, do you want to put this in your pack or, you know, like
Yeah.
that same thing, and then decide yes or no, and then.
Just trying to think. So let's say we're deconstructing a plane, right? We'll have a lot of metal, obviously, and things that don't float. But what do we do with the extra stuff, though? I mean, obviously we're not gonna have every part of the plane, but you know what I mean? If you just want the metal out of it, you'll have some leftovers. Would that just get scrapped then? Thrown on the ground and left, or would it get deleted
I
out
think
of the
just
world?
Throw it on the ground and just leave it there.
Okay.
Like anything else that you discarded, just put it there.
Because if you think like, what if someone takes something they don't need and leaves something they do need? We don't want that to just not be there anymore.
Yeah. All right. So how about this idea then? How about we go to the plane and then it will be all, or any object that's whole as one that you can deconstruct, and then upon deconstructing it, you'll have it laid out in pane, right? You'll have your deconstruction pane, and then it'll be your solid item. It'll deconstruct and have all these little things that it's made up of. Let's say you only want a couple of these things. You'll take like this piece, and this piece, and this piece. You want to move them to your inventory. So you drag and drop those each into your inventory. You exit out of the screen. Maybe all these deconstructed pieces then, right? Is this what you guys are thinking? Just kind of get thrown on the ground, and they're just sort of laid there as a pile of junk. Okay, that'd be kind of cool. Although we'll give the player, I think, this feeling that there's something that they should be doing with all these extra pieces when they're really not. But maybe they could do something with them. How do you guys want to do bag space? How should they carry around this stuff? Should it be super
You can
unrealistic?
only carry 2 things at a time.
No.
One for each hand, man. I mean, should it be unrealistic, or what do you think?
You should make it so it's like there's grids with like squares, and then each one's a different shape. You know what I mean?
What do you mean by each one?
Where is the different shape?
Like, did you ever play like Resident Evil 4?
Mhm.
Well,
What do you mean by each one? Is different? Each item is different
yeah, each
shape?
item, like some are
Okay.
like squares, some are like rectangles.
Okay,
You
sure.
try to like fit into a bag that's like just 16 by 16.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. It's where each individual item has its own property of size,
Yeah.
right? And you can only carry so much. Yeah, or we could say you can only carry a maximum of weight, right? Or something like that. We could do that and limit it. But that's still, so here's my still the same question though, is do we want it to feel unrealistic then or realistic? So should it be like we have some kind of carrying supply thing to where we can fill it with stuff, or should it just be you're just picking up items and somehow they're magically getting
You
absorbed
have
in
a
your body?
dimension portal pack where you can put stuff in it, and you don't have to really carry anything.
That's actually a good idea.
Just space in it.
I don't mind doing that.
Well, then can you just carry an unlimited amount of things?
Well, you only got enough room in your little.
Maybe the saving nodes that we were talking about that will interact with our watch. You know, they'll be like, oh, other mechanical life being, walk by it, and it'll pop up, and then maybe in that little saving space we'll have some form of storage there. And maybe that's where we can incorporate this
So
interdimensional
you've got like a bag you
portal
can have
travel.
so much stuff in, and then you can put it in the other
Mhm.
dimension there.
Will you be able to connect up with it even if you're not at the space? Just be like, do you want to connect with the?
Yeah, I think that'll have to be connected to your watch, right? And then from your watch, maybe that'll be our total way we fake our way around it, right? And we have this little watch, and anything that's been put in any of your storages, you can collect through your watch, and then you can access it through some interface, right? That will pop up on your watch, and then maybe some little portal will pop up, and then like the items can kind of spit out at you, the items that you need or want. And then maybe we got a few different safe spots. I mean, we're gonna have one on each starting island, right? But wherever you start, you only have that one island. And then maybe throughout this bigger island, we can have the more like every save node you come across will increase the amount of space that you can carry ultimately.
Yeah.
So it's like you're unlocking more storage spaces, and then you can access all of those from your watch at any given time.